We call this extra small, and I label it, and this is for ages 3 to 6 years. So here we are, the 2 pieces of the mask fabric, the cotton, and 2 pieces of polypropylene. The cotton I put in inside out, right sides together, and that's probably how your kit will come to you. On this one, there's a right side and a wrong side. Do you see that? This is the wrong side, this is the right side. So when I sew this to the face, which means facing the face, I mean, not sewn to the face, which means that I must put the right sides together. So that's that, and then I put it like this, and I stitch along the curve. See that? So that is prep, and let me show you what a stitched one looks like. If you have a sewing machine, you would probably use it, and so this is it stitched along the curve with the sewing machine. But I am also going to do a hand-stitched version with this one. But for right now, let's go over the machine sewing. So now that that's stitched, I'm going to trim this closer to the edge so that we don't have a big bulky seam at your nose. So I'll get my scissors, and I have to put this down so that you don't watch me cutting because I don't have my tripod. Somebody took it. Here it is all nicely trimmed, and then I open it up, this side this way and this side this way, and you'll see why we did that. Okay, so now the curve makes a cup so that it doesn't smash against your nose, and we have a clean, no seam here because the seam is inside, buried between the 2 fabric pieces. Great, so now we're ready to sew the bias tape onto the top and bottom. The bias tape is really just a length of fabric of a certain width, and I'm going to stitch it here, and I'm going to stitch it along this curve, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Here it is. I have stitched here, and now I'm going to trim it along the lower edge, and then I will stitch over the top, stitch it all together. Here we go. That will make it easy for me to fit it over. If I didn't trim it, this might not meet very well. Wow, look at that. It's coming together nicely. Okay, next I'm going to sew along the top. Right, here we are. The top is stitched. And this is going to be extremely important to trim this because there is absolutely no way this is going to fit over. And see? And then we're also going to do the nose guard. So I'm going to cut this off and trim it and then stitch it. Okay, here we are. Then I take a small piece and I'm going to sew it here because when I sew the nose guard in, the nose forming piece, it's going to put a little extra stress on the fabric, and we don't want the fabric to wear out too soon. I also have a piece where I put it at the edges for the same reason. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I cut a little piece, and I cut the edge off of it, so it's only like 2 parts of the bias tape. And then this is the nose guard. I folded it in 2 so I can kind of know where the middle is. It has a little tape on the back because it's gluey. And then I'm going to put this here, but let me show you how. To do this, I took the tape paper off, the tape backing off, and I stuck this on. So now this will fold over like this when I sew. I do have to do a little adjustment of this width, the inside width, to make sure that it fully covers, because I want to make sure it covers here and goes down here when I sew on the top. The next thing is to take one of these and cut it in half, and then I'm going to stitch it underneath the edge so that it doesn't break through the fabric. Okay, here I have stitched the two pieces here, here, and then I have this here. Now I'm going to fold it over and stitch the front to the back, right? So that's what I'm going to get. Doing this with the machine, as I said. Here it is from the other side, and you can see I missed a little. So this will get covered. If it's close to the edge here, I don't really bother to go over it again, because by the time we fold this over, you don't get to see that, and it's not a problem. But if it happened here, I would totally go over it. Now, what I'm going to do is put pleats in the sides, because this helps it to sit more closely against your face. Some people choose not to do the pleats. It's up to you. But basically, see, it looks like that. I actually have a finished pleat here, one with finished pleats here. So I can show you that. And then now we're almost done. So pleats on both sides and stitch them in place. And then I sometimes trim the edges, and I think I might have already trimmed this edge because it looks kind of flat. Then elastic. Almost done. There are a few ways to do elastic. You could basically stitch your sleeve and then thread it through, and I certainly have done that. I've been a little lazy recently, and then I just fold the sleeve around it, and I stitch along here, making sure not to hit the elastic. And then I tie the elastic ends, and I make them too big so that anyone who buys the mask can put them back into, can make it smaller, but you can't make it bigger. So here's one with the one side sewn. And then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Pre-knotted the elastic. There it is, all finished. So now I'll put it in a bag, label it, and these will go on for sale at the Atomic Basement Comics Makerspace, which is being called Nucleus. Nucleus Makerspace. And then I'll finish this one, and this one will also go for sale, but I will work on the hand-sewn version after that.